When the president does it, that means it's not illegal.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we dive into a critical legal debate, presidential immunity. Senator John Kennedy questioned Professors Mascott and Lacovara on the Supreme Court's take in Trump v. United States. Was this a landmark decision or a dangerous precedent? Let's set the stage. The case, Trump v. United States, reached the Supreme Court because the Biden administration sought to prosecute former President Trump. Professor Mascott confirmed the government pushed for an expedited ruling. But what did the court actually decide? Despite dramatic headlines, the Supreme Court did not say, when the president does it, that means it's not illegal. That's a phrase from Nixon-era controversies, not legal precedent.
President Biden's lawyer actually conceded, did he not, that core functions of a president should have absolute immunity?
Yeah, I do think there's agreement that core functions should have immunity.
In fact, President Biden's lawyer said, quote, core functions can't be regulated at all.
That's correct.
Close quote.
A key moment in the oral arguments, President Biden's lawyer admitted that core functions of a president should be immune from prosecution. That's huge. The question then becomes, where do we draw the line? What counts as a core function? This is where things get murky. Senator Kennedy brought up an interesting concept. Lawyers pick courts likely to rule in their favor. It happens more than you'd think. Could a prosecutor charge a former president for something controversial? Imagine multiple prosecutors bringing case after case. Even if they win, they lose. The Supreme Court warned about this chilling effect.
Now, let's suppose after that trial was finished, another ambitious district attorney and another venue or another jurisdiction decided to do the same thing. And then another, and then another. Can you understand what the court was talking about when it said, we can't allow the court system to have a chilling effect on a president, any president, in making these decisions? Can you understand that?
Absolutely. The risk of facing that would certainly significantly impact how a president would make decisions in office, and that's the last thing we want.
Now let's talk constitutional law. Professor Lacovara criticized the ruling, arguing that presidential immunity isn't in the Constitution. But guess what? Neither is separation of powers. Yet, no one disputes its existence. The Founding Fathers designed the Constitution to create balance. The real debate is, does that balance allow for prosecuting a former president? Or does it protect the office itself from politically motivated legal attacks? This is why the ruling matters, not just for Trump, but for every future president.
Lacovara?
Never have.
You were vociferous in your criticism of this opinion that the words presidential immunity don't appear in the Constitution. Is that right?
That's part of it, yes, sir.
Do the words separation of powers appear in the Constitution?
No, I acknowledge that there is a structure called the separation of powers.
Is there any?
So, what's the verdict? The Supreme Court's ruling isn't just about one man. Should presidents be above the law? No. But should they be constantly threatened with prosecution? Also no. This debate isn't over. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.